So in the today's lecture, we are going to discuss about flow through pipes. See, in the previous only we seen that Reynolds number flow is laminar flow, whereas the Reynolds number is more than 4000. The flow is a turbulent flow. Similarly, the turbulent flow of fluids through pipes running full will be considered. If the pipe is running partially full, as in the case of sewer lines, the pressure inside the pipe is same and which is equal to the atmospheric pressure, then the flow of fluid in the pipe is not under pressure. So let's start our lecture. We'll consider some cases. I told you that in laminar flow, the flow along the length of the cross section throughout the pipe will be the same. In turbulent flow, the flow will be non-uniform and there will be some undulations. The flow will be zigzag. Similarly, that. So let's start our lecture with the flow through pipes. So in the flow in pipes generally will be under a pressure greater than atmospheric, where a flow is laminar or turbulent generally depends upon the Reynolds number. See, in the pipe also the flow will be maybe laminar or a turbulent. The generally the flow in pipes will be generally under a pressure greater than atmospheric. Why means pipes are the closed one. In the closed one, generally the pressure will be greater than the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure will not affect here. Okay. So these laminar and turbulent flow will be depends upon the Reynolds number. Okay. So Reynolds number. See, in a laminar flow, the fluid particles move along the straight parallel path in layers such that the paths of individual fluid particles do not cross those of neighboring particles. Laminar flow is possible only at low velocities when the fluid is high viscous, but the velocity is increased less viscous. The particles do not move in straight path. Particles move in random manner, resulting in general mixing of the particles. That type of flow is called as the turbulent flow. See, you need to understand a major difference in laminar flow and turbulent flow. In laminar flow, the fluid particles will move along the straight parallel path. In laminar flow, the flow is possible only at low velocities and when the fluid is high viscous. See, in laminar flow, there will be a low velocities and high viscous, but when the velocity is increased uh, or fluid is less viscous, the fluid particles do not move in straight path. The fluid particles move in a random manner, uh, which is resulting in turbulent flow. See, whenever a laminar flow changes to turbulent flow, uh, the reasons are: one is the velocity will be increased, velocity is increased, diameter of a pipe, diameter of a pipe is increased, the viscosity of fluid is decreased. Here, there are three things you need to understand when a flow changes to turbulent flow. When a laminar flow changes to turbulent flow, one is the velocity is maybe increased, and second one is the diameter of a pipe will be increased, and third one is the viscosity of fluid is decreased. So these are the three factors you need to understand very clearly. Velocity of flow is increased and diameter of a pipe will be increased and viscosity of a fluid is decreased. So that's why the Reynolds was the first one to demonstrate the transition from laminar to turbulent depends not only the mean velocity but on the quantity. This rho Vd by mu is the quantity. The quantity rho Vd by mu is nothing but the Reynolds number, which is a dimensionless quantity. Okay, so it is has given. See, let us see the Reynolds number. So Reynolds number is the ratio of. So Reynolds number is the ratio of inertial forces to the inertial forces to the viscous forces. Here, the inertial force is nothing but the mass into acceleration. So, this mass into acceleration, ma, again it can be written as. So, we know that generally the term mass is nothing but density is equal to mass by volume. So, this mass can be written as density into volume. We can say that is the density into volume. And similarly, acceleration can be written as velocity this volume again can be written as length square. So we'll get here density into L square V square. Okay. Similarly, the viscous force is written as shear force into area. Okay. So this shear force again we can say shear force is the tau is equal to mu into du by dy, that is the dynamic viscosity with into the velocity gradient. Okay, again it can be written as dynamic viscosity into length into velocity. Reynolds force is equal to inertial force by viscous forces. We get finally here rho lv by mu here. Here L is nothing but the characteristic length. In case of pipes, L is represented by the diameter. Okay. So finally, the quantity which is getting here, that is the Reynolds number, which is demonstrated with the Reynolds. The quantity is nothing but the rho v d by mu, rho v d by mu. This was by the demonstrated by the Reynolds. Okay, so this uh, Reynolds number is a dimensionless parameter. Okay, this Reynolds number is mainly used to classify the laminar flow and turbulent flow in case of a circular pipe. Okay, so try to understand here. Reynolds number is a dimensionless parameter. Okay, Reynolds is equal to rho Vd by mu. Here rho stands for density of the flow, V stands for velocity of a fluid flow in a pipe, D is the diameter of a pipe, mu is the dynamic viscosity. Again, we know that kinematic viscosity is equal to mu by rho. Okay, so by using this, again we can write as Reynolds number is equal to Vd by mu, that is the kinematic viscosity. Here V is the velocity and D is the diameter of a pipe. Here mu is the kinematic viscosity, that is equal to mu by rho. Okay, so this is about the Reynolds number, which is a dimensionless quantity which is used to determine the laminar flow or a turbulent flow. So that only. In the previous one, we discussed that the transition from laminar to on not only on the mean velocity but also the quantity rho v by mu, which is nothing but the Reynolds number, is also very important. Okay, so this is about the Reynolds number. Same, same the Reynolds is given that the Reynolds number Re is equal to Reynolds number is given as a quantity rho v into d by mu. So this quantity in case of circular pipe, this Reynolds number is less than 2000. The flow is nothing but the laminar, and same in case of circular pipe. If Reynolds quantity is more than 4000, the flow will be turbulent. See, if the Reynolds number lies between 2000 to 4000 means 2000 to 4000 means definitely the flow will not be a laminar, will not be a turbulent, that will be a transition flow. That means in transition flow the flow will be changes from laminar to turbulent. Okay, so these things you need to understand here. Laminar flow means Reynolds number is less than 2000, whereas in turbulent flow means Reynolds number is more than 4000. In transition flow, Reynolds number will be in between 2000 to 4000. Here the flow changes from laminar to turbulent. Okay, so this was given by the Reynolds. Okay, so this is a very simple thing you need to understand here. Okay, so this is about the type of flow, laminar and turbulent and transition flow. Okay, so let's discuss about the loss of energy in pipes. See, in the previous ones, we discussed about the velocity distribution also. Okay, in pipes. So, so before going to discuss about the loss of energy in pipes, we need to know some factors that may be loss of pressure head in a laminar flow is proportional to the mean velocity of flow. See, the loss of pressure head, that is P by rho z, loss of pressure head P by rho g is mean proportional to the mean velocity in case of laminar flow, while in case of turbulent flow it is approximately proportional to the square velocity, that is the pressure head is proportional to the square of the velocity in case of turbulent flow. This one we need to understand here. Another thing is that shear stress in a turbulent flow is sum of the shear stress due to viscosity and shear stress due to turbulence. The shear stress in turbulent flow is sum of the shear stress due to viscosity and shear stress due to turbulence, that is given as shear stress due to viscosity and shear stress due to turbulence. These things we need to understand here. Okay, another one is that the velocity distribution in turbulent flow also for the pipes will be given. Okay, so these are the some of the things we need to understand here. Okay, So coming to the loss of energy in pipes, uh, in laminar and turbulent flow, by using the Reynolds number, we have determined that the turbulent flow of fluids flow through pipes running full will be considered. In case of the pipes which are partially full, as in case of sewer lines, the pressure inside the pipe is same and equal to the atmospheric pressure. Then the flow of fluid in the pipe is not under pressure. So these are the cases we need to discuss here. So coming to the loss of energy in pipes, when a fluid is flowing through a pipe, the fluid experiences some resistance due to which some of the energy of fluid is lost. The loss of energy is classified as basically major energy losses and minor energy losses. So the energy losses are classified into two types. One is the major energy losses, another one is the minor energy losses. These major energy losses is due to the friction. These major energy losses are due to only the friction, which is calculated by using the two formula. One is the Darcy-Weisbach formula, another one is the Chegis formula. So coming to the minor energy losses, these minor energy losses are due to sudden expansion of pipe, sudden contraction of pipe, or bend in pipe, pipe fittings, obstruction in pipe. So there are a lot of minor energy losses will be in the pipe. So first, let us discuss about the major energy loss, which is due to the friction, and then we'll discuss about the minor energy losses, which are due to the sudden expansion, sudden contraction, bend in pipe, pipe fittings, and obstruction in a pipe. First one is the major energy losses due to the friction, which is given by the equation called as the Darcy-Weisbach equation. So here the Darcy-Weisbach equation is given as head loss due to friction, that is the HF, which is equal to the head loss due to friction is equal to FLV square by 2ZD here. Here F stands for friction factor, which is a function of Reynolds number and relative toughness. So generally the term called uh, L is the length of the pipe diameter. Generally this length of pipe we consider as a diameter here. Okay. Another one is the V, which is nothing but the mean velocity in pipe. So F is the friction factor, L is the length of the pipe, V is the mean velocity in a pipe, G is the acceleration due to gravity. Another one is the capital D is nothing but the diameter of pipe. Generally, these friction factor, uh, we generally consider this friction factor is a coefficient of friction, which is a function of Reynolds number and relative roughness. Generally, it is given as 16 by Re for Reynolds number less than 2000 for viscous flow. See, these F will be, which is for Reynolds number less than 2000, whereas F is equal to 0.079 by Reynolds 1 by 4 for Reynolds varying from 4000 10 power 6. Okay, so the major uh, one is due to the friction. See waste batch formula. The loss of head or the loss of energy in pipes due to friction is calculated by using the Darcy waste batch equation that is given as head loss due to friction is equal to FLV square by 2ZV. Here F stands for friction factor and L stands for length of the pipe and V stands for mean velocity of the pipe and G stands for acceleration due to gravity and D stands for the diameter of the pipe. Here, the friction factor is a function of Reynolds number and relative roughness. This friction factor is given as for laminar flow, that is less than 2000 for Reynolds number is 16 by Re, and for Reynolds number 4000 to 10 power 6, the friction factor is 0.07 by Reynolds 1 by 4. Okay, so these are the things you need to understand here. The ratio The ratio head loss due to friction by length of the pipe is equal to S1 represents the energy slope which is equal to the hydraulic gradient line in uniform flow. In long pipes, this head loss due to friction forms a major part of the total loss. Okay, so here the head loss due to friction to the length of the pipe is given as the energy slope which is equal to the hydraulic gradient in uniform flow. In long pipes, this head loss due to friction forms a major part of the total loss. The frictional velocity resistance varies with the nature of the surface. Understanding one here. So this is about the major head loss by using the Darcy-Weisbach equation. And similarly, the Chase's formula also given that for loss of head due to friction in pipe, that is given as the Chase's formula. The Chase's not very important, but Chase's formula is given as the mean velocity is equal to V is equal to C the square root of M into I. Here C is a Chase's constant and I is the loss of head. I is the loss of head per unit length of pipe. I is the loss of head. I is the loss of head per unit length of pipe. There is a head loss due to friction by length of the pipe. C is the Chase's constant. Another one is the M, which is equal to D by 4, which is nothing but the hydraulic radius or hydraulic mean depth is equal to the D by 4. So understanding everyone here, the major head loss due to friction is given by another formula which is called as the Chase's formula. Chase's formula is V is equal to product of C into square root of Mi here. V is the mean velocity of the flow and C is the Chase's constant and M is the hydraulic mean depth or hydraulic radius. So generally this term M is also defined as M is equal to ratio of area of the flow by the vectored perimeter, also we say M is equal to A by P. So the M is nothing but the hydraulic mean depth or hydraulic radius which is denoted by M. M is equal to A by P, area of flow to the wetted perimeter, and I is the loss of head per unit length of pipe which is equal to the HF by L. Okay, so this is about the Chase's formula for determining the major head loss due to friction. Okay, coming to the minor losses in pipes, I told you that generally there are more minor losses in the pipes: sudden expansion, sudden contraction, obstruction in a pipe bend in a pipe, and pipe fittings. Sir, there are a lot of minor energy losses will be there. The loss of head due to friction is a pipe is known as major loss, while the loss of energy due to change of velocity in minor losses, the loss of energy due to change of velocity of the flowing fluid in magnitude or direction is called as minor loss of energy. The minor loss of energy includes the following cases. One is the loss of head due to sudden enlargement, loss of head due to sudden contraction, loss of head at the entrance of a pipe, loss of head at the exit of a pipe, loss of head due to an obstruction in a pipe, loss of head due to bend in a pipe, loss of head in various pipe fitting. See, so these minor energy loss due to the change of velocity of the flowing fluid in magnitude or direction. In case of long pipe, the above losses are small as compared with the loss of head due to friction, and hence these are called as a minor losses. Even may be neglected with serious error, but in case of a short pipe, these losses are comparable with the loss of head due to friction. So you need to understand that here velocity will be changing here in terms of the magnitude and direction, so that only these minor energy losses will be occurring here. In case of long pipe, these are just neglectable, whereas in a short pipe these losses are comparable with the loss of head due to friction. Okay, so let us see the first one, loss of head due to sudden expansion or sudden enlargement. So consider consider a liquid flowing through a pipe. So let us consider a liquid flowing through a pipe here, which has sudden enlargement as shown here. So let us consider two sections here. First one is the here section 1, another one is the section 2 here. See, considering the two sections here, at section 1 the velocity will be v1 and pressure intensity will be the p1 and area of the pipe at the section will be a1. Similarly, at the section 2, the pressure intensity of the section will be P2 and velocity of the section will be V2 and area of the section will be A2. Okay. So so here when the flow is entering here and the pipe has sudden enlargement. So whenever we have the sudden enlargement, the diameter of the pipe also changes due to the sudden change of diameter. Here let us consider D1 here, D2 here, the sudden enlargement, the diameter of the pipe. Due to sudden change of diameter of the pipe from D1 to D2, the liquid flowing from the smaller pipe is not able to follow the abrupt change of the boundary, so that the flow separates from the boundary and turbulent eddies will be formed here. Okay, due to the diameter changes, suddenly the flow separates from the boundary and turbulent eddies will be formed here. So the loss of energy takes place due to the formation of these eddies here, So by applying the Bernoulli's equation at the section 1 and section 2, so we'll get the equation. We know that Bernoulli's equation is P1 by rho z plus V1 square by 2z plus Z1 is equal to P by rho z, P2 by rho z plus V2 square by 2g plus Z2 plus here these things will be Z1 and Z2 will be because the pipe is horizontal. So the flow of friction is given as H head loss HL is equal to V1 minus V2 whole square by 2G. So these can be written as V1 minus V2 whole square by 2Z. Again, these can be rewritten as here like this expression V1 square by 2Z into 1 minus A1 by A2 whole square, or V2 square by 2Z A1 minus 1 by A2 whole square. These also equation again we can read. The basic equation is the head loss due to the sudden expansion is given as V1 minus V2 whole square by 2Z. So coming to the sudden contraction. See, same here also. Let us consider the liquid flow will be here. We like that the liquid flow flowing here. Let us consider a liquid flowing through in a pipe which has sudden contraction. Okay. So let us consider two sections, section one and section two. This is section one and this is section two. As the liquid flows from large pipe to small pipe, the area of flow goes on decreasing and becomes minimum at a section here. This generally here this section is called as a vena contracta. That is the here the liquid flows from large pipe to small pipe. The area of flows goes on decreasing and become minimum at section here. CC, that is the vena contracta. After section CC, sudden enlargement of area will takes place. The loss of head due to sudden contraction is generally uh, due to sudden enlargement from vena contractor to smaller pipe. So let us consider the equation is here at a velocity at section 1 is V1 and velocity at vena contractor is Vc and section 2 is the V2. So the expression is given as for sudden enlargement is given as Vc minus V2 whole square by 2G. This is the expression given for sudden contraction. Sudden contraction. See, for example, the term again rewritten as 1 by Cc minus 1 by whole square into V square by 2G. If the Cc, that is the not given here, the head loss due to friction is again written as 0.5 times the V square by 2G. When the term is not given Cc, 0.5 times the V square by 2G. So this is the expression for the sudden contraction. Okay. So Vc is a velocity of the flow at vena contracta. Okay. Here the term called as a Cc is a ratio of current contraction is a ratio of area at the contraction by the area at C section by A2. Okay. So this is about the expression for the sudden contraction. Okay. Next coming to that entrance of a pipe from a reservoir. So the expression due to the head loss is given as 0.5 times the V square by 2G. See, the loss of energy which occurs when liquid enters a pipe which is connected to a large tank. This loss is similar to the loss of head due to so this loss of head is due to similar to the sudden contraction only. This loss depends on the form of entrance. For a sharp edged entrance, this loss is slightly more than a round entrance. In practice, the value of loss of head at the entrance in a pipe with the sharp constant entrance is taken as head loss is equal to 0.5 times the v square by 2z. Here, v is the velocity of liquid in pipe and the loss of head is denoted as the HL. Okay. Coming to the loss of head at the exit of a pipe. So this type of loss of head due to the velocity of liquid at outlet of the pipe, which is dissipated either in the form of a free jet. If outlet of the pipe is free, it is lost in the tank or reservoir, which is equal to the v square by 2g. Here head loss is equal to v square by 2g. V is the velocity of the flow at the outlet of the pipe. Here velocity of the, in this particular case, velocity of the liquid at inlet. Here velocity of outlet of the pipe. Coming to that, for a conical expression, so generally it is given as head loss is equal to k into v1 minus v2 whole square by 2g. For bends and pipe fittings, the loss of head in generally in the various pipes, pipe fittings, valves, couplings. In this particular cases, these head loss k into v square by 2g. Here v is the velocity of the flow and k is the coefficient of pipe fitting. Okay. So coming to the loss of head due to the obstruction in a pipe. See, whenever there is an obstruction in a pipe, the loss of energy takes place due to reduction of the area of the cross section of the pipe at the place where obstruction present. So in this case, there is a sudden enlargement of the area of flow beyond the obstruction, due to which the loss of head takes place. So this expression is given as head loss is equal to v square by 2g into a by cc into capital A minus small a into minus 1 whole square. Here the term v is the velocity of the flow and g is the acceleration due to gravity and a is the area of the cross section and cc is the coefficient of contraction and small a c is nothing but the area of cross section at vena contracta. So these are expression which is given here. The coefficient of contraction is generally lies between 0.6 to 0.6666. So these are the various types of minor losses in the pipes. So we discussed about the major energy losses and the minor energy losses. So these are all about the energy losses. So we discussed about that loss of energy in pipes is classified into two types. One is the major energy losses, another one is the minor energy losses. Major energy losses is only due to the friction. So due to the friction, it can be calculated by using the two formula, Darcy-Weisbach formula. Another one is the Chages equation. In Darcy-Weisbach formula, the head loss due to friction is given as FLV square by 2ZD. F is the friction factor, L is the length of the pipe, V is the mean velocity of a flow in a pipe, D is the diameter of a pipe. And similarly, the Chages equation is V is equal to C into square root of Mi. C is the Chages constant, V is the velocity of the flow, M is the hydraulic mean depth or hydraulic radius, I is the head loss due to friction to the length of the pipe. So coming to there are various minor energy losses due to the sudden expansion, sudden contraction, and pipe at entrance of the pipe and at the outlet of the pipe obstruction and pipe fittings, bent fittings, and various energy losses will be there. We see that the expressions. So coming to the total energy line and hydraulic gradient line, see the total energy line. The total energy line, which is defined as the sum of total energy line is the sum of the pressure head. It is nothing but the pressure energy per unit weight plus kinetic energy per unit weight plus potential energy. So the total energy line is represented as the sum of potential sum of the pressure energy per unit weight and kinetic energy per unit weight and potential energy per unit weight, which is given as the pressure head, the sum of the pressure head, kinetic head, and the potential head. Whereas the hydraulic gradient line, which gives the sum of pressure energy per unit weight and the potential energy per unit weight, that is the jet here. So it gives the sum of potential pressure head and potential head. So very important that these two terminology, total energy line and hydraulic gradient line. So total energy line is about the sum of pressure head, kinetic head, and potential head, whereas hydraulic gradient line is sum of the pressure head and potential head. So these are all about the things we need to understand.